Well, our moms think we're funny.
Hey everyone, this is Turk 182.
And I'm a Comey, and I'm gonna sue the pants off of you.
You know what? To all of our listeners out there, have you guys ever been the victim of a podcast that claimed that it was one thing but wasn't? Claimed that made a claim something like, we're the funniest podcast out there. We're the first and only podcast that tells you how to properly manicure your lawn. And then it's not exactly what it says. It's like, we're the best movie review podcast, and they're not. Then join myself, Turk182, and my fellow class action mate, Comey, and we are going to file a class action lawsuit against all those other podcasts. We're going to make them pay what they owe, pay you back, give you the compensation that you need. For all the time and money that you invested in those podcasts, only be disappointed by what you got in the end.
I'm gonna sue the pants off of them.
We're going to take their fucking pants.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so what is this all about anyway? Obviously, we can't really sue a podcast because,
Not with that attitude we can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily we presented ourselves properly. My mom actually did think that I was funny. At some point,
yeah.
I'm sure I did something that was like.
I can safely say my mom has laughed at me at some point in my life. So
I was like, look, mommy, I got the highest grade in school, but it's still a B. You think that's good? Yeah. Yeah, my mom laughs. It's like Go-Go from Kill Bill. You call that begging? Please, mommy, don't hit me again.
So far, my mom's involvement with the podcast was my sister had called her and told her about Gwyneth Paltrow's candle.
Wow.
She was like, "Did you hear about this stuff?" I was like, "Yeah, me and Turk did like an hour and a half long podcast on it." She was like, "Huh? Why haven't I heard it?" And I was like, "That's a damn good question. It's online. Why haven't you heard it?" She's like, "Huh." So yeah, there you go.
All right, so what brought us to do this podcast here was I got an email not too long ago, and I forwarded it to a Comey, and I was like, "Hey, Comey, did you get this email?" And you were like, "No." And I was like, "I want to talk about this because this is such utter bullshit." And I wanted to bring it up because one, it's kind of public awareness to kind of let people know, and two, because it's so goddamn ridiculous. That's really the only thing I can say is it is. So I get this email, and it just starts off, legal notice. If you are or were a U.S. owner of an iPhone 6, 6 Plus, 6S, 6S Plus, 6X Plus Plus, 6S Plus SE Plus 7 Plus 2 Plus 5, what is this, fucking pie? A device that ran iOS 10.2.1 or later before December 21st, 2017, and or a U.S. owner of an iPhone 7 or 7 Plus device that ran iOS 11.2 or later before December 21st, 2017, you could be entitled to benefits under a class action lawsuit. What's this about? In a consolidated class action lawsuit pending against Apple, plaintiffs claim that a performance management feature introduced for iPhone 6, 6 Plus, 6S, 6S Plus, and SE devices, yada yada yada, 7, everything we just mentioned before, diminish the performance of those devices. Apple denies all allegations and is entering into the settlement to avoid burdensome and costly litigation. The settlement is not an admission of wrongdoing by Apple. Under the settlement, Apple may pay a minimum of $310 million and a maximum of $500 million, depending on the number of claims submitted. If the settlement is approved by the court, your rights may be affected. The United States District Court for the Northern District of California authorized this legal notice. The court will have a final hearing to consider whether to approve the settlement so that the benefits may be paid. This summary provides basic information about the settlement. Alright, so then it goes on to a bunch of fucking bullshit, and that's how I just gotta say it. It's a bunch of fucking bullshit.
Right.
Because what they really want to capture your attention to is like, did you own an iPhone? And really, who gives a shit about what the iOS is? Because if you had an iPhone of one of these before that time period, you ran that iOS, either because it was the older one or because they forced you to update your phone.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be like, oh, hey, I can't get into my banking app anymore. Oh, that's because they had to comply with the new iOS and you haven't upgraded to that. So now you can't get into it.
Oh, yeah.
So none of that shit really matters. What really matters is, or what draws people's attentions is, a minimum of $310 million to a maximum of $500 million. You're thinking to yourself, well, holy shit, that's a lot of money, right?
That's a lot of nuts.
Yeah, and it's limited to U.S. owners of iPhone. So we know that iPhone is not as big as it used to be. You got tons of other places out there. So the number of people that hold iPhones, it probably could be, I don't know, maybe 200 million people in the U.S. It could be more than that. But we're also talking about the people that had the phone during this time period, right?
Right,
so,
right.
All right, so you're thinking to yourself, oh, wow, so I could be one of those people, and that's a lot of money, so they're going to break me off a big chunk of that, right? Yeah, no. So as we get down a little bit further, it says here, amount of cash payment. Under the proposed settlement, Apple will provide a cash payment of approximately $25 per eligible device. Kiss my fucking ass for me to join your class action lawsuit for $25 fucking dollars. We spent $25 just on lunch today, and so, so you're telling me that by joining this class action lawsuit, you would basically buy the two of us lunch?
Yeehaw!
Ninja, please.
Be still my beating heart.
It's like, oh, I got the vapors.
Honey, play a general.
We can finally take that vacation. Brandine! Yes. Please note that the actual cash payment per eligible device may be greater than or less than $25, depending on the total number of approved claims and other factors. Yeah. So, depending on the number of claimants, it could be more that you get because the settlement could be higher, or it could be less. But also, the more claimants you have, the more that money has to be split. So more than likely, it's just going to end up equaling out to be the same damn thing.
Yeah.
We get money with more people, but you're really just multiplying it exponentially about what you're saying you're going to pay out, which is $25.
Right,
So, fuck you. Oh, and by the way, in case you guys didn't know, this is pretty much more of like just a bitch fest because this is just ridiculous. And I get these kind of shits all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just damn stupid. So, the total payments to be made by Apple under the proposed settlement are subject to a minimum and maximum as set forth above and in more details in the class action notice by going to this notice, which I'm not going to click on that link because I really don't give a shit. I didn't opt in. I didn't really opt out. I just said I'm not participating. I'm just going to ignore it because I really don't give a shit. It's $25. You're not going to give you $25. You're going to give you a fucking $25 iTunes gift card or $25 credit to iTunes, which again, I don't really give a shit about. I think I have like $3 in iTunes, like $3 like in my iTunes account right now, which has been there for like a year because there's never anything that I really want to get.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy.
And I think we talked about this maybe on one of the other podcasts. I talked about how I had Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I think.
Yeah.
It was the game app. I bought it, and I think I paid $6.99, $9.99 for it. I bought it for my phone. And when it was no longer supported for whatever reason, they pulled it from iTunes. They also pulled it from my phone.
Yep.
I paid for that game. That game's mine.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking own that game. Just like all the other things that I bought that are mine that I own. Just because you don't want to support it or have it out there anymore doesn't mean you get to take away that game from me.
Right.
If you do, you got to give me back my money. I paid for that.
Yeah,
regardless of how often I play it, I've got DVDs that I bought that I've had for like years I've never even owned. Just because like Warner says we want to put them back in the vault doesn't mean you get to come to my house and take that from me. It's mine. I bought that game. You took it from me. You fucking stole it from me is what you did.
Absolutely.
So because of that, I'm really hesitant about what I'm actually going to spend money on in iTunes because they may decide one day, Tim Cook has a wild hair up his ass, you're like, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to take away all apps that start with the letter L, and so I'm just going to put it out there again to the ghost of Steve Jobs, to Tim Cook. You fucking owe me for that game. Pay me. You're going to pay what you owe. All right. So it goes on a little bit further to say class counsel's request for attorney's fees up to 30% of the $310 million floor plus expenses of up to $2 million. So this is where you really get into all this. And this is really what I wanted to bring up with all this bullshit with the class action lawsuit is that class action lawsuits are bullshit. They seriously are bullshit. Because what happens in a class action lawsuit is they get a bunch of people together. One person decides that they want to sue whoever it is. But their voice is not strong enough. and they can either have this thing drag out forever or maybe not get what they need,
Yep.
or maybe their attorney's just not really going to fight that hard for it because they know it's going to be a losing battle. So basically what they do is they get the might of everyone else to help them to win their case. But in the majority of class action lawsuits, the only people that actually benefit from it are the attorneys who get something like a 30% of whatever the settlement is.
Yep.
Right. So out of that $310 million or $500 million, that's not all going to you.
No.
30% of that is going to the attorney. You get the table scraps of what's left.
Yep.
Plus, the people that originally filed the class action lawsuit, they get the bulk of that award. What you guys get then are even the other scraps.
Yep.
So imagine Thanksgiving.
$25.
Right. Imagine Thanksgiving dinner when it's like, okay, here's a turkey. The attorneys come in and say, okay, we're going to take these 2 legs and we're going to take these 2 thighs. We're done. So then the other people, the ones that actually set the table, right? They say, okay, well, we're going to take the breast and you guys fight over everything else and who gets the wishbone. All the rest of you, 30 to 100,000 people, you guys can get whatever's left. You can pick over the carcass to your leisure.
Yep.
Like, no. But that's what happens. The people that file those, the attorneys get a big chunk, the other ones get an even bigger chunk, and you get what's left. And you also end up signing away your rights to something more to settle for $25 in iTunes dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck you!
Which isn't even money that's going out of Apple's pocket at the end of the day.
No, it's not. I mean, because think about it. What is that? That's what, 6 months worth of sales to them?
I mean, maybe.
Not to mention that they have, that they have all these. They have a company in or something in Ireland that they don't pay taxes on.
Right.
So they've got all these different locations that they don't pay taxes on. So
Lots of companies do that shit.
Yeah, which is, I'm not even going to get into all that.
Shady as hell.
Right. I mean, because if you're making that kind of money, when you tell me you're making like profits of like, well, you know what? Let's just Google it. Because that just seems like to be the best thing to do here.
Yeah.
To illustrate my bitch session point, which is to see how much profit did Apple make last year. Let's see. Help if I can spell. Okay, so in the year of 2019, this is according to Statista.com. It says here that in 2019 financial year, October 2018 to September 2019, Apple's revenue came to a total of $260 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Apple announced its highest annual revenue to date, $265 billion. So do you really think that $310 million to $500 million is going to hurt them?
At all?
They're not even going to feel that. That's like when you reach in your pocket to get your keys and you accidentally, like a dollar bill falls out. And then you realize, oh, it must have fallen out. I'm not going to go back to the parking lot and go look for it and be like, oh, well, it was $1.
It was $1.
Yeah, that's what they're looking at. Oh, well, it was $1. Is that really going to hurt them? And the thing is, if we were really damaged, those of us that had those phones, if we were really damaged by that and by their practices, whether you want to consider them shady, good business deals, what had to be done, whatever it is, with $265 billion, you can break off a little bit more to me for that.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're charging me like $1,000 a fucking phone and you're making this much in profit,
yeah,
obviously you don't need to charge me $1,000 for a phone.
Yeah, that's insane.
So let's just take that and say that you only charge me $500 for a phone. So that means you're going to get $134 or $132.5 billion instead.
Something
oh my
like that.
God, how are you living at night? Are you okay?
Right.
Do we need to set up like a Patreon or Kickstarter for you, Tim Cook? Are you all right? I mean, come the fuck on.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you see this with these class action lawsuits. These people think that something great's going to happen, and it's not. And it angered me so much because if I really did feel like I was affected by it, like you're basically you're smiling at me and telling me that you're doing something wonderful for me, but at the same time you're pissing in my coffee,
Right.
and then tell me that no, it's sweet and low. But like, no, no, it's not. I know it tastes like sweet and low because it's piss, but it's not. It's not.
It's Grandma's peach tea.
Thank you. And it's just like that killed me, and I've seen it so many times with things. And the whole purpose of the class action lawsuit is supposed to be for everybody that's been affected, even those that either aren't aware or don't really feel like they have the means of like getting an attorney to be able to get some kind of recovery, right?
Yeah.
But instead, you end up getting shafted more than if you just said no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such garbage. So for any of you guys that saw that or got that, just look at it and just be like, this is wrong. And even more wrong are the people that file the class action lawsuit and know that they are going to get the big win and everyone else is going to get shit on.
Yep.
And they don't do anything different.
Yep.
Because the only way for them to win is for you to basically give them your strength, and then they give you nothing in return.
Yeah. $25, it's so nothing.
I don't want your $25. I don't. And because what is that? What is that to me? So let's just take it right now. And again, you're not going to get $25. You're not going to send your $25 check. I guarantee you they're going to give it to you in iTunes dollars at cash or fucking Wally World Fun Bucks, whatever it is, right? something that you are not going to be able to use to actually buy yourself a cup of coffee or a sandwich anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Shroot bucks.
Huh?
Shroot bucks.
Right. It's like that's such bullshit. Just look at it like this. You don't have the $25 today. You didn't have it yesterday. You're not going to have it tomorrow. Has your life changed any from the past 2 days? Nothing different has happened. And so, I don't really care for you or for your paltry little, apology. It's not even an apology. It's the equivalent of when, someone just like a rich person in a bad movie where they just toss a couple of dollars at them and then walk away without actually even really acknowledging that they've done anything.
Yep.
That's really what it is.
That's completely what it is.
And then, of course, they're going to write it off. Mm-hmm. Because here's money that I had to pay for a lawsuit that I'm going to be able to write off through some kind of expense, and so even then it's not hurting them. And what are you getting from it? Nothing.
Yep.
Because whatever they did to the phone, it still affected you. They never fixed it. They never put it back the way it was. Mm-hmm. Instead, you had to go and buy another $1,000 phone. So I hope that $25 somehow makes up for that. So it brought the price down to $975.
Yeah,
and then there was the tax that was charged. Oh, then your carrier also charged you to reassign that new phone, right? Which was a matter of a couple of keystrokes on a computer. Mm-hmm. And they were like, "That's $25." Well, Apple's paying for that, my good man. Here you go.
I have a guy for that. Don't worry.
Thank you, Quicksilver. I mean, it's fucking bullshit. And the thing is, that's how always these class actions are. And you see them on TV all the time with whatever it is. Did the Boy Scouts do this to you, or did Monsanto's do this? Did talcum powder do that? Join our class action? No, I'm not.
You've been exposed to asbestos,
right? And because the only thing they do is they give you a year's supply to talcum powder, Monsanto's, and asbestos. It's like, motherfucker, this is what's killing me.
You supply asbestos.
I'm sorry. I thought you said you wanted more of that. You were mad because you didn't get enough. It'd be like you go into a doctor and be like, "Oh, so here, take these cancer pills. It's going to get rid of my cancer." Oh, you want to get rid of it? No, you're going to give me more cancer. I forgot. I didn't understand what you came here for. My mistake.
Silly me.
Oh, you didn't want pneumonia. Oh, whoops. That's why they call it medical practice.
Oh, you wanted a flu vaccine? Oh, that's not what was in that shot.
No, we don't make vaccines. Cure? Nintendo? Oh, it's such bullshit, man. And I said when I saw that, and I just kind of read through, because I'd seen it come through before, and they're like, like click on this thing and go here to sign up. And I'm like, yeah, no. And, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. And then I get, like 6 months later, I get another thing about it, and I get this one. And of course, it toss around all these big figures there. And again, that doesn't mean anything. It means nothing.
Yep.
And it's like, and if you think that, and the worst part about it, and I know I'm sounding really, really preachy, but the worst part about it is basically what they're saying is that you can be bought for $25. 25 virtual dollars.
Yep.
We're not even talking Bitcoin. 25 virtual dollars.
Oh, I would take it if it were Bitcoin. Because that's an investment. That is going to increase in value at some point. Even if it dips in value right now, it'll increase eventually.
Except when the robots take over.
Well, I mean, the robots will use Bitcoin.
I don't know, man. I think if you drop like a massive EMP,
well, I'd still invest in it for now. I wouldn't make long-term plans for it,
but I'm like, it's garbage. And the thing is, I at a company I used to work for, they had somebody file I'm gonna try to keep this as vague as possible, but and it was one of those things where it pissed me off, and not because I was so in love with the company, but it pissed me off because it was the hypocrisy of it. And it was such a blatant lie that it made me angry that it went that far, and that everybody, which you kind of see that a lot right now, but everybody knows that you're lying, but for some reason, no one is going to is gonna pull the brakes and be like, stop, but it's like we all know this is a lie, and we don't like it.
Yeah.
We wish somebody would do something about it. Well, then do something. Yeah, I know, right? It's like, well, then
somebody
stop.
should.
Right? Yeah, then stop it. Yeah, I'm waiting for someone, man. Someone needs to. I'm right there with you, man. So we can stop it. Yeah, we can. Let's go. Yeah, man. Just as soon as someone tells me, shows me like what. Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's like, no,
you go first.
Right. Just stop it. So this person filed a lawsuit against a practice of the company, saying that again, I'm trying to keep this super, super vague. Saying that one of their practices was not properly expressed to the customers.
Yeah.
And they were also a customer. The other part of that, though, is that they were also a sales representative. And part of being a sales representative is that it was their job when you're selling this product to inform the customer of these things.
Yeah.
So if the customer has not been properly informed and you're the one that sold it to them, it's not the company's fault. It's your fault. Right? So if I go to buy a car and I go to a dealership and the dealership doesn't tell me how to put gas in the car, and or that, like I don't just pour gas on the car. I actually have to like open up the gas can and stick the nozzle in there, and I just pour gas all over the car, and then the car catches on fire, and I'm like, well, the company never told me this is what happened. You and I never actually had a conversation about it. You had a conversation with the dealership. They're the ones that didn't tell you. Plus, we also gave you this handy little booklet that tells you everything you need to know. Did you not read that? Not really my fault. But in this case, you're both the dealer and the buyer, and you're going to say, the company never told me this, but then that's a conversation you never had with yourself. So either because you're too goddamn stupid to know it, or for the sake of doing a class action lawsuit, you chose to ignore it. And somehow it went through, and in the end, the company settled because it was dragging on for so long, which is really what a class action lawsuit generally does, is that it drags things out for so long that it starts to cost them more to try to defend their name than if it would be if they just settled it. Because the class action lawsuit hits for the front page, the defense of the company when they win hits page 5.
Yep.
And no one ever sees it. And even if it did hit page 1, everyone says, well, the only reason they won is because they're a big company, they catered to them, they had more money.
Yep.
And not because that maybe this person was wrong or that they were lying. And so at the time, it caused a lot of problems with people that were working for the place I used to work for, because we had to do all this stuff with these people and call them and explain what this was and that was. And some people were kind of like fake irate, like, what? This doesn't make any sense. I don't understand what this thing is. Or like, how come you never told me? Well, because it's common sense. If, you know, if you go like, have you ever been to one of those arcades where you, like if you used quarters, like a game would be like 50 cents, but if you use a token, it'd be like one token, which is 25 cents.
I vaguely remember seeing a few like that, yeah.
Which is kind of shitty, but it's just a way of you spending your money to do a thing but you know, if you actually want to use real money, it was going to cost you more. Well, common sense says that, you know, if I take my dollar and instead of like coming in there with 4 quarters, I take my dollar and I put it into a machine, I'm going to get 4 tokens. Then I can play this game 4 times as opposed to me just using the quarters in my pocket where I can only play it twice for the same amount of money.
Right.
You know, if you're not smart enough to really be able to grasp that concept, as an adult, obviously, because we're talking about that people are signing things, you know, as a legal contract. If you're not smart enough to grasp it, then you probably shouldn't be engaging in this anyway. You know.
Yeah.
And then, but to come back and be like, well, I was never made aware. Well, sure you were. This isn't like the only time we see this. And
right.
God, I'm really preachy. But you see this kind of stuff all the time when you go into the grocery store and you see that here's this thing that says, and I see it all the time. I look at it, I'm like, what? Like, who's that stupid? Right. You see it and it says, here's, whatever it is, and it's, some kind of product or, I don't know, let's say soda. And it's, 2 of these for like $5.
Right.
Or you can get a bigger one that is like $4. But the bigger one that's $4 is actually, it's, you know, maybe this is like the 2 things are like 12 ounces and this is 20 ounces.
Yeah.
Well, if I buy 2 of the 12 ounces, that's 24 ounces, right? But I'm paying $5 for it. I can get this 20 ounce for $4. I'm saving myself $1 if I got 2 of those, right? I'm still coming out more ahead than if I did this other thing that's going to cost me more. But yet they put it out there as if it's a sale, but it's not really a sale.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing. It's just a matter of just either just looking at it and taking the time to invest and be like, hey, am I really saving money here or what? Right. And if you don't do that, that's your own fault.
Yeah.
It's nobody else's fault. You can't go back to the grocery store and be like, well, you guys tricked me. You didn't this. We had both of them right there.
Right.
You could have taken the time to do that. And so this person, like I said, they filed a class action lawsuit. They got all the money. All the other people, again, the people that weren't made aware because, hey, you, the seller, never told me. The same person that filed the lawsuit. But again, I'm like, how the fuck? You know, and then the company, of course, settles because it's just easier for them to settle, which is basically what they want them to do, not prove their innocence.
Right.
Which even then, you may not come out as being innocent in the eyes of the public.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's just a lose-lose situation, and not every company is... like most companies are bad, okay? But that doesn't mean that everything they do is bad. Sometimes they do things right.
Right.
You know, and you can't be like, yeah, well, but this is for the, you know, like the Goonies thing. It's like, this is my quarter, right? And it's like, and I did a wish and it didn't come true, so I'm taking it back. I'm taking all these back. Well, you can't do that and be like, yeah, but I also put in a bunch of other quarters that did come true. Right. So I can't just be like the one time that you did something I didn't like, now I'm going to take everything back and just call you an asshole. Right. And it's like, call me an asshole for the things I did that were assholish, not for the thing I did that you just didn't like because it didn't benefit you. Right. And it's like, and I hate that. I hate it so much. And then for these people to like try to rope me into this email, again, trying to give me the big cartoon $ eyes, whatever. It's like, what? And then of course, when you read a little bit further, you get $25.
Yeah.
Well, holy shit.
That's so stupid.
The day that my life hinges on $25 is the day that I've done something really, really wrong. And I'm going to tell you right now, it didn't happen on that day. It was something that was building up over several years to the day that I was going to need $25. I was going to decide my life, whether I was going to live or die. And I know it does come down to that sometimes, but generally it's not something that just pops up out of the blue and be like, Like someone comes up to you and be like, "Hey, you're the next contestant on $25. I'm going to shoot you in the head." It was like it's like that doesn't happen.
Right.
So and then in this case, again, it's not even like $25 real dollars. It's I just can't wait till I can wait, but I can't wait until the day that someone tries to rob me on the street for 25 iTunes dollars. They're like, "Give me your cash." We're like, okay, here's what I got. No, what's your fucking iTunes cash? No, give me this. What am I gonna do with these dollars, huh? And it's like, credit card. I want your fucking credit card. Give me the iTunes cash.
Maybe
I'm gonna gut you, man.
Maybe it's like those scammers who are like, "Oh, we're with the IRS. We're going to have you arrested. We need $5,000 in Target gift cards." Like, what? Okay.
Timmy needs shoes.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that situation where it's like, no, I just need a minute. I just need time to get your gift cards. Here, I have an iTunes gift card. I have $25 in iTunes money. They're like, okay, well, we'll wait till tomorrow. That'll give you time. Yeah. So it is a life and death thing.
Yeah.
Apple knew.
That's going to happen in the future. They're going to just eliminate cash completely, and we're going to pay for everything through like iTunes. And it's like I've got $25 in Google Play. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't take Google Play.
Ooh, iTunes cards.
Well, I'll tell you what. Well, we do have an exchange. It's 2 iTunes will equal up to 1 Amazon bucks. Yeah, that's what'll happen is like, the countries will switch over, but like, France will only accept like iTunes, like Ireland, they're all about Google Play, and then you're going to be like this virtual currency exchange, and
Canada's just going to take Dogecoins.
and somewhere in some like, I don't know, like third world country, like, I don't know, Papua New Guinea or something like that, they're going to still be taking like Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
God, I'd go for that. I always used to feel so cool with like this big pile of gold coins.
But I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to be one of those really rare people. I am only going to accept tokens from Aladdin's castle.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a deep cut.
Yeah. But I mean, that's gonna be like, you paying for something with like a damn gold bar.
See, the currency I would accept would be those pressed pennies that like you get at museums. You put it in the thing and you have to crank the handle and it runs it through the gears and stamps the logo and like deforms it into it. Because they're super rare. Because everybody gets them and then they never keep them.
Right.
And nobody has them. So like there's probably what 4 in existence on the earth right now?
I will only accept the ones that actually imprint the image of Kennedy's silhouette onto a penny.
Ah.
I remember a long time ago when I was growing up, and we went to a museum like that, and they had it was like a little, almost like a bookmark thing.
Yeah.
And they had that, and it was all the similarities between Kennedy's death and Lincoln's death.
Yeah. Which is some crazy stuff.
It is. It's crazy. It was like Lincoln was shot by John Wilkes Booth, and then Kennedy used to drive a Lincoln that had like booth seats or something. It was just something weird.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't like that, but I mean, it was something really weird. Like it's like always like kind of wild coincidence. Like he was the 24th president, he was the 42nd president. It's but yeah, I will only accept those, the ones that have pennies that have been like embossed with like the silhouette of John F. Kennedy. And if you actually have that little card that explains all the similarities, right? Then that's like an extra, like that's like
that's like the credit cards of your currency.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, that really just it set a fire underneath me that it probably shouldn't have, but it's because like say especially right now I'm bombarded with it all the time. I watch a lot of Comet. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, a fair amount of Comet, because lately they've been not really showing like really good like B movies, like when they bait and switched me in with like a bunch of really bad B movies. I'm like, I love this channel. Then I'm like, now we're gonna show a whole weekend of Babylon 5. I'm like, yeah, it's Babylon 5, but I want to watch this really old, bad, like 80s like sci-fi movie. I want to watch Mutant Hunt, man. I want to watch some Ninja Vengeance. I want to watch Ghost Warrior, or
Watch Ninja Vengeance again.
Huh?
I don't want to watch Ninja Vengeance again.
Or Violator, or whatever these movies are. Interzone, it's like something, Zone Troopers, like one of those. That's what I want to watch. I want to watch more of what was it? The Hammer horror TV series.
Oh yeah, God, that was a good one.
Oh, we need to do more of those.
We do.
And so,
That
but
was a really good one.
the Comet channel, and then the Laugh channel, because Laugh actually has Night Court, and I love Night Court.
Oh yeah.
But the thing with both those is because they are such these like really, I guess, small like cable channels.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of really bad paid advertising commercials, and they will show one for like class action lawsuit against like the makers of talcum powder or Monsanto, and these things are not like the normal 30-60 second ones. These things are like 3-minute long commercials where if you just turn to the channel, you would have thought you were in an infomercial. And sometimes I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, wasn't I watching a TV show? Like what? And I was like, oh, I forgot. It's this long ass, like 3-minute commercial, for this thing, which is complete bullshit, where they're trying to get you again to give your strength to help this person out so you can get dick and they can get more. And you're seeing them on so many of them right now everywhere that it's just garbage. So when I got the email in, I was just like, oh God,
Yeah.
it's just like, I about hulked out, dude. It was,
I've gotten a lot of emails about the talcum powder suit.
yeah, and it's I don't really have anything to say about the talcum powder suit. I mean, because as a baby, one of the things that you would do is you clean the baby down, you wipe them down, put some talcum powder on them, slap a diaper on them, and then they're good to go.
Yeah.
But again, I don't have the parts
Right.
that would be as affected by that as
Right,
other people
right.
would be. So, and I remember like the commercials you'd have on TV where like, sprinkle some of this in your panties, so so it's like, yeah, they were telling you to do something that'd be like the equivalent of Gillette being like, hey, and after you shave your face with these razor blades, instead of like disposing with the old ones in the trash, swallow them. They're good for you. It's like Fight Club is like, did you know you can fertilize your lawn with used motor oil?
Right.
It's like you're telling me shit that I shouldn't do.
Yep.
So yeah, that's gonna make me a little angry, and now of course I'm sick on because of what you did.
Yeah.
It's almost like the domestic equivalent of Agent Orange.
Ooh.
We're telling you that this is something that you need that's going to help you and make you better, while the whole time we're saying, yeah, it's also going to make you sick too.
Right.
But we're going to keep telling you to use it. And then, we're going to deny that there was any connection to the end, and we're going to pay you, but we're also still going to say that, no, you're just crazy. And the reason you're crazy is because you were exposed to talcum powder and Agent Orange. And that's what drove you crazy.
Yeah.
But that's not my fault, I'm just going to sit here and, drink my Lipton's iced tea. So, yeah, like I said, I apologize for the, pseudo-apologize for the bitch session. But it's just like, oh man, that really just, it irked me so much. And to think that they could somehow, like trick me or, into joining on, I'm like, no, not today.
Yeah.
As one of the guys used to work with, he was like, not today, Satan. That's what he was saying when like the phone rang, and he was like in the middle of something that wasn't going to answer. He'd be like, not today, Satan. He hit the voicemail button. So yeah, this is I guess a fairly short episode,
A
just
little
me kind of bitching about that. But like I said, I just keep repeating myself. It just really, really bothered me.
Yeah. Don't blame
And-
you. Don't blame you at all.
And I just gotta say, if this really bothered you, like the lawsuits themselves really bothered you, file your own lawsuit. There are attorneys out there because they are going to get paid when you get paid, and most likely there's going to be a fairly significant payday they're going to be able to get their 30% off of, right? Don't give your support to somebody else so they can get paid. If you really are affected by this and you really feel like that they owe you something, that you are due some kind of compensation, right? File your own lawsuit. There's hundreds of thousands of attorneys out there that are more than willing to go the distance, because again, for the most part, it's not even a matter of proving that they're guilty. It's a waiting game. So there you go.
Yep.
All right. This has been an infomercial by Turk 182.
This has been a public service announcement.
Dun, 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 dun. All right. So thank you all very much for listening to me rant, and hopefully that I've given you something good to kind of follow up on in your own lives and to maybe read a little bit deeper. I've bitched about things like this before, like, the agreements that you have to sign when, like when you get a new iPhone.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you agree to the terms of this contract? Because if not, you can't use the phone. Well, shit. I guess I don't really have a choice, do I? I mean, these are fucking mob tactics you're doing. This is like strong arm stuff. And it's like, you want this? Okay, well then you have to say yes to everything I just told you, or you can't have it. And since you bought it, you can't really take it back because you opened up the box. That's the only way you could have gotten to this stage here. So good luck with them taking it back now. So you might as well just go ahead and give me what I want. Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay, geez whiz.
It's just more shitty soulless corporation stuff, really.
I mean, basically, every time you click like accept on that, you're basically just mirroring your phone, because it's the same thing. Yeah, you don't have really a choice right now, and I'm just going to do whatever I want to you. But yeah, so like I said, you're just being hurt. If you're gonna get hurt you. I was gonna say hurt yourself. Jeez, if you're gonna get hurt,
That's bad advice, Turk. No.
I gotta balance it out. Just give him some good advice, not give him some bad advice.
Do drugs, kids.
The good drugs. Anything that's from the earth is good. Weed, coke. Heroin comes from like poppy seeds or something, like whatever the plant is. I don't do drugs. You guys should.
Doesn't anthrax come from the earth, though, Turk?
Do anthrax.
Do anthrax, kids.
The band Anthrax. I love the band Anthrax. Scott Ian, I love that. Dude, I Am the Law, the Judge Dredd song is awesome.
Oh,
Among the Living, I love Among the Living. That's an awesome song. Yeah, do Anthrax, the band. Not just the music. If you see the Gimmick concert, go backstage, fuck them. I'm sure they enjoy that. And pull on Scott Ian's beard too if you do that. And if you do that, it's like when you like pass a trucker and you make the little fist pump down. They blow the horn, right? All right, everyone. So again, this has been Turk182, and you can find me on Twitter at Turk182_KE.
And I'm a Comey. You know where to find me.
And where would that be? Just in case, I kind of forget sometimes.
You try so hard to keep this professional.
After I just told people to do drugs, yes, I tried real hard to keep it professional.
You guys can figure it out. I mean, it's at a Comey Draws or something, maybe.
Yeah. And of course, if it's your first time listening to us, please subscribe to us. Please leave us a favorable review. 5 stars would be most helpful to kind of help us to spread the word of our podcast, get it to grow more, and so
I only want positive affirmation.
Yes,
just positive reinforcement. Nothing but good reviews. Send us money.
Because we're good enough, we're smart enough, and doggone it, people like us.
Just pat us on the ass. Tell us we were funny. If you have anything else to say other than that, then just go shove it up your ass and listen to another podcast.
Man, I tell you, man, I'm not on your team. So. Yeah, it's going to help us to grow, help us to, be able to put a lot more time, let us be able to put the amount of time and energy that we really want to into this on a much more frequent, regular basis, and be able to do more things, not just this podcast and our Let's Watches, but be able to expand a little bit more too. So yeah, thank you all very much, and take care of yourselves, and don't buy any wooden nickels. I don't even understand what that phrase is.
Don't buy any Windex?
Wooden nickels.
Oh, wooden nickels. Yeah. It's like don't take any wooden nickels. It means like don't take counterfeits.
Yeah, but who would ever fall for a wooden nickel?
Right? Why the hell would you ever take a wooden nickel? So, wait a minute.
I think before I would take a wooden nickel, I'd accept that bag of magic seeds. So, bye everyone.
Bye.
All right there, folks. That was Our Moms Think We're Funny. Let's give them a hand.